Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our NXT review. And I gotta tell you, fun episode of NXT tonight. We barreled towards NXT TakeOver. I believe it's being called The End for June the 8th. Got some matches announced. Some excellent video packages hyping up the show. Some good in-ring matches tonight to kind of, again, build the momentum to take over The End. And a vignette that I'm very excited to be talking about with my cohort and commentary here. So, Ashton, what'd you think of NXT tonight?
Yeah, I feel like NXT was really kind of hitting on all cylinders tonight. This felt like one of the better episodes over the course of the 2016 calendar year so far. I think that there were only three matches. All three of them were good to some degree or another. We had a lot of character progression throughout the night, a lot of interviews, some updates, and they kind of helped to really cement the NXT TakeOver The End card on June 8th.
Right, I completely agree with your appraisal of tonight's episode. With that said, let's get right into our first segment, Heat of the Night. I've got no heats of the night tonight, no nitpicks. This is one of those episodes of NXT where you just kind of turn your brain off and you just enjoy everything that's presented. This is a fun episode without a doubt. No complaints here. What about you, bro?
Yep, same here. This was a solid show, no complaints.
All right, with that said, let us get right into our NXT review. And we open up, actually, with William Regal in his office. I kind of, like this format. This isn't the first time this has been done. However, on this occasion, William Regal, well, he has good news, but at the expense of some bad news, Ashton, to report.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bayley is injured again and is not fit to compete. So tonight, in order to determine the number one contender to face Asuka for the Women's Championship at TakeOver The End, which is, I don't get that title, but whatever, we are going to have a triple threat match between Carmella, Alexa Bliss, and Nia Jax. Bayley is still owed a rematch, but since she can't do it at TakeOver and Regal needs a women's championship match for that show, we're having this triple threat tonight to determine who faces Asuka.
Yeah, sounds like a very fun main event. Women's triple threat. Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, and Carmella. Winner goes to TakeOver. Love that William Regal set this up, really set the tone for the show. Nothing more you can say about that. If you have anything else you want to say, we can move right along.
Up next, we had our first match of the night. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa taking on TM61, formerly known as TMDK. The Mighty Don't Kneel. We had Shane Thorne, formerly known as Shane Haste, and Nick Miller, formerly known as Mikey Nichols. And there was a screen-in-screen promo where they actually said, "We are mighty, and the mighty don't kneel." And I giggled at that.
I loved it. But Ashton, let me ask you straight away, since I believe you have a greater, certainly relative to me, greater familiarity with TM61, again, formerly the Mighty Don't Kneel. What did you think of this debut, bro?
I thought this was an excellent debut for them. I really thought that they got the chance to shine. I know that there were some people that thought that it was a little bit questionable that they would lose on their debut, but as we've seen multiple times on Lucha Underground, it is okay for somebody to lose their debut as long as they look strong in that loss.
I completely agree with you. I like this because when you look at the caliber of opponent that they lost to, TM61 still looks absolutely dynamite in their debut to me. Thorne had great leaping ability, great moments where he just showed that athleticism, and Miller had a very fun hot tag in this match. I loved when he did like the Irish whip tease. I believe that was to Ciampa, and then it ended up with Ciampa like knocking into Gargano. That was great. So yeah, TM61, color me a freaking fan, man. These guys, a hell of a lot of fun, but I do think the right team went over. Gargano and Ciampa pinning Miller after that double team move we saw them hit. I believe it was either last week or 2 weeks ago, the super kick, but then the running knee to the back of the head. Still looks vicious, and Gargano and Ciampa still have all the steam in the world, my friend.
Yeah, man. I thought this match was a great match. I feel like both guys in TM61 got opportunities to shine, but I do feel like Shane Thorne had more memorable moments. There was a moment in this match where Gargano and Ciampa were both outside the ring, and he did like a dive fake out. Like it looked like he was going to do a dive, but he got up on the middle rope and did a backflip, and that was really cool.
That was awesome. Yeah, these guys did so much cool stuff. And see, it's matches like this, especially because it's their debut, so it's not really like there's much of a precedent to go on, right? That I can understand the sentiment that wins and losses don't matter. Because I think for matches like this, the important thing is, okay, the talent coming in has to forge a connection. And I think they did that immediately with Full Sail. I mean, this match got NXT chance, a universal show of respect that we can't show favoritism because everybody in this ring right now is just so good. I like the show of respect after the match. It clearly sets TM61 apart. And I'll tell you, when American Alpha and the Revival get done their business, I will be very intrigued at who the new number one contenders are because it's looking like a very impressive class at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the signings that NXT has been getting this year have all been big deals. I just prefer it when they get guys like this who aren't really well known in the United States, who can work, who do have personalities, who can be entertaining, rather than just kind of reaching into the TNA barrel and being like, well, these guys are proven on television. Let's just stick them out there.
Exactly. Completely agree. I couldn't have said it any better. I have no more remarks to make about this match. I just had a lot of fun with it. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, Gargano is absolute fire, man. This crowd absolutely adores Johnny Gargano. And I will say, I think Tommaso Ciampa is the better worker between the two. But that being said, I should specify, I think that Ciampa is the better wrestler between the two. But I should say Gargano is the better worker because I think Gargano has a much more natural connection with the crowd. I think Ciampa is a more natural heel. And I think that their finisher is probably my favorite tag team finisher in the world today.
You know what? And I'm American Alpha through and through, and I love Grand Amplitude,
But
the name of their finisher.
I was just going to say, yeah, I feel like we can agree that if there is any weakness to American Alpha, it is their finisher, which is good, but could be so much better.
I know. I love I guess spontaneity would be the word of Gargano and Ciampa's finisher. It just feels like if we just get you like that, we could have you. Where I feel like with American Alpha, it is a bit of like a multi-step kind of setup to me, which is fine, but I just love almost like a suddenness kind of feeling I get with Gargano and Ciampa. And as far as your remarks about the two, as individuals, you're looking at a guy in Gargano that, in my mind, if he were to ever have a singles run, would be such a beloved babyface in NXT. I think to the point where, and he has the credibility to back it, he may even get a shot at like the champion down the road and get to have that little skirmish with the NXT champion, whether it be Joe or some other heel at the time when he'd take that run. And Ciampa, I mean, you already heard my remarks about him when he was having his slew of singles matches as more heelish. I really liked it. I wanted to see him and Balor in the ring. So seeing these two together, nothing but smiles and a good time, man.
Yeah, absolutely. After the match was over, we had a handshake sort of moment. They didn't actually shake hands, but they kind of gave each other the nod of approval. And then as Gargano and Ciampa were walking up the ramp, they were kind of clapping like, yeah, we're proud of you guys. You did good. While TM61 were posing in the ring.
Right. Good stuff.
Yeah, up next, we had a Samoa Joe title reign video package, just kind of getting him over as this monster champion, which is obviously a thing. He's dominant, what can I say?
Yeah, and that was really the theme of this video package, Joe's dominance, saying, he is the champion. It was a new, chapter for him and for NXT when he took the belt from Balor. And, more or less that, Balor on June the 8th is going to be locked in there with Joe, first ever steel cage match. So they tried to make it a big deal. I like the quality of both the video package that Joe got and the one that Balor got later, which we'll touch on. And yeah, this is good stuff.
Yep. Up next, we had Cathy Kelley interviewing Bayley. Bayley talking about this whole situation with her injury, not being able to compete tonight. Basically, the big takeaway is she thinks it sucks. Big shocker. Nia Jax shows up, though, and she kind of plays the intimidation game with Bayley. Bayley doesn't back down, but then Carmella shows up and stands up for Bayley. And then Alexa shows up, and we just kind of have all of the three of these. They all have beef with each other. They all hate each other. The alignments are pretty clear because Alexa and Nia are both spiteful and Carmella is sticking up for Bayley. But nothing really comes out of this other than just these women hate each other, I guess.
Right. I mean, I liked it. I think it was simplistic enough to kind of drive interest in the main event.
It's weird because I feel like anytime Nia Jax cuts a promo, it's almost like she's playing angry. Like, she's supposed to come off as this angry bitch who hates everybody, but it just comes off as she's like in a high school play pretending to be an angry character. You know what I mean?
I could see where you're coming from, man. Yeah, it doesn't really, I don't know,
It feels very forced, very faux.
Yeah, yeah. Because, like, even in her tone, like, I don't get an angry tone. It's just, like, almost matter of fact.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the tone, it feels very much like just reading lines off a script.
Right.
So
Alexa Bliss I still love, and I'll have a bit more to say about her later. And Carmella, I think, she played her part. She's Bayley's friend, and she's really the only babyface in the equation. So her interaction was as expected. So not bad, but nothing really noteworthy here. So
yeah. All right. Up next, we had an announcement that the Japanese metal / pop band Baby Metal,
yes,
has a song, Karate, that will be one of the theme songs for NXT TakeOver. What do you think about this, John?
I love it. I love it.
Are you familiar with Baby Metal at all?
No, but you know what? I love that we're being a bit more, multicultural, so to speak. With the music aesthetic and everything else.
Two of your biggest stars are Japanese, so it makes sense.
Exactly, and I think Nakamura may have had a hand in getting Baby Metal featured for this takeover because I saw, I think, some tweets from him about it.
Dude, how great would it be if they got Baby Metal to play live and Nakamura got to dance with them?
That'd be freaking amazing. That would fit so in line with his personality. So, yeah, I love it.
He has that one music video with, I think, Tempura Kids or something like that, where he's actually, like, dancing with the band, and they're all, like, dancing, and they're all, like, dressed up like little like, miniature Nakamuras, and it's amazing.
That sounds amazing. That sounds like his personal heaven.
I can't believe I haven't shown that to you already.
Yeah, we have to watch that, man, definitely.
Yeah. This is interesting. I did a little research on Baby Metal earlier today, and I don't hate the sound or anything like that. I don't listen to music typically that I can't understand the lyrics to, but for lyrics that I can't understand, I dig it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it has a good sound. I don't know if it's necessarily like, man, you're talking to a guy, like, it's funny that you say you don't listen to music much that you can't understand. Well, I know you and I both have animes that we like. If there's an anime open that I like, I'll listen to it, like, in Japanese and just, still enjoy it, even if I can't understand, what's really being said. And
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to learn Japanese so that I could understand this stuff. And right. I think I will eventually be able to do that. But right now, time is just not friendly.
Oh, my God. Well, yeah, I mean, that's you and me both. I'd love to learn Japanese as well. I have my own reason for wanting to do so. But time has got to be friendlier. And for right now, though, it's being quite friendly to Nakamura and groups like Baby Metal, so I'm very, very glad that they're being featured for TakeOver here. Cool for them.
Up next, we had our first vignette for Andrade CIEN Almas, which CIEN Almas is 100 souls, I believe.
What are we thinking, Ashton?
I don't know. I don't know what we're thinking, because here's the thing. Based exclusively on what I know about this dude, and this is the former La Sombra. He wrestled in NXT for the last few months as Manny Andrade, and what we know about him is that he's incredibly talented in the ring. He's a high flyer. He's exciting. So given that, you would think, oh, well, clearly he's going to debut as a babyface, right? He's going to be like the next Neville almost.
Right.
But they showed in this specific vignette him removing his mask, which is a very frowned upon thing in Mexican culture. Now, whether they're going to use that to make him a heel, or I guess in this case, a rudo in NXT, I don't know. That's my question. That's what I'm looking forward to finding out. But based on what we've seen, I honestly think there's a good chance that he's going to be a bad guy when he shows up, even though I do think he's a bit better fit. Although I shouldn't even say that, because from what I remember, he was a bad guy in CMLL. He was the leader of Los Ingobernables.
Right. Yeah, so, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe being a heel is his idea. Maybe that's just something that he enjoys doing more.
I'm just gonna apologize to everybody in advance. My remarks, because I mean, Ashton's the more educated guy between the two of us, so my remarks may not be very substantive. I will say this first and foremost: that vignette gave me goosebumps. I can't remember the last time I got that into a vignette, and I don't even know the guy. Like, this is one time, and WWE does it often, so I'm not gonna act like this is like pulling a rabbit out of the hat for them. They really captured the atmosphere for me in this, because you have the film projector going and he's watching the film. Now, was that of himself or was that of his father? I'm sorry, I just want that cleared up very quick. Like, what was he
I think
watching?
that was himself, yeah.
So he was watching himself like with the mask, and as the footage is playing, just thread by thread, he's like pulling at the mask, loosening it so he can take it off, and then he takes it off. And you know what? I was expecting to see his face, but I'm glad it cut away like before we'd see it. I thought that was a great technique. This, aesthetically speaking, amazing vignette. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I feel like WWE really hit this one out of the park. I'm actually going to go back and watch this again later. I'm just telling you, like, chills. Absolute chills. It was really like, what is he going to do? How is this guy going to burst on the scene? I don't know anything, so I can't remark on what I think it's going to be or any speculation. I personally believe he's going to come in as a heel because, to Ashton's point, very frowned upon in the Lucha Libre culture to take off the mask. I actually, what would have been nice and what would have been confirmation, I expected when it went black, rather than the name text that we got, I thought it would like light up again, but you'd see the mask on the ground or something, just to really drive home like I spit on this mask. But we didn't get that either, which is okay. Less is more in this case. But I do think he's set to come in as a heel, and to say I'm stoked, honestly, would be an understatement. This was great stuff.
Yeah, this was a really well done vignette. I'm really looking forward to see what the next iteration of this series of vignettes is going to look like.
That's a great point, dude, because as we know with vignettes, you and I have been watching them, for a really long time now. We've seen them come and go. They always evolve. So what's next in this story before he gets in an NXT ring? That is the question.
And that's kind of what I was getting at, too, is because, like, the vignettes always tend to tell a story, and this seems like the beginning of one that I'm looking forward to see the rest of.
You and me both, man.
Up next, we had an Austin Aries promo. He said that people always try and claim to be the best, and that it's gotten cliche at this point, because even if you can say you're the best, there's always going to be somebody who comes along who's better than you and takes that title and that mantra. So he doesn't bother with that. All he worries about is being great. And he says, what defines greatness? And of course he brings up, showing how good he is in the ring, going and traveling all over the world, winning titles everywhere he's been, basically saying that he has exhibited all of these traits that he says lay a claim to greatness. And then he says that he's in NXT now, and that once the dust settles from Joe and Finn, Austin Aries is going to be the next NXT champion. At this point, though, the lights go out.
Yeah, and I'd say that was almost a bit too poetic, because not only did the lights go out in the arena, I feel like the lights went out for Austin Aries' championship aspirations. It's funny, Ashton, I like the promo Aries did. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was a good promo. But just when you're ready to give him that credit, Nakamura steps in and takes everything. Dude, this guy is such a level of over. It's unbelievable to me. The guy just struts and everybody's already in the palm of his hand. And I gotta tell you, I want to know what you think. What did you think of Nakamura's promo, however brief, tonight? Because I thought he killed it.
My God. He's so charismatic. It's not even fair. Like,
it really isn't, dude. It really isn't.
I know it's fun to talk about. Oh, I wonder if Nakamura's ever going to be an NXT champion. I don't care about that. This guy is a future WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
You know what my response to that is? 3 words for you. He better be.
Yeah.
He better be, because
I think as early as next year even, he could be a WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
I know, right? I'm speaking solely for myself here, because again, like, you obviously have your markouts, but you're more reserved. Like, you're always able to keep the cool and really see things for what they are, and I've always respected that about you. I know that maybe I could invest too much in a guy, or when I say, like, Apollo Crews, for example, dollar signs all over him. It's been a bit rough for a guy like Crews right now, or others. Nakamura is one of those guys that I'd put in the same category as Balor, in the sense of you have to actively try to fuck this up.
Well, no, I was gonna say no. Nakamura is above Balor.
Oh, no, and I agree. I think even in that same category, Nakamura even more so than Balor. But just the general point, like, you get two guys of that caliber, you have to actively try to fuck up. And Nakamura, I think, is just the ultimate personification of that. You're talking about a guy, he came in, started speaking in Japanese, and then just line of the night from Nakamura, because he looks at Aries and he goes, "You don't understand Japanese, do you?" And then Aries, thinking he's all clever, "Oh, I don't understand you." Nakamura not missing a beat. "Yeah, me either." I love that this man owns his weirdness. I love that this man revels in his own eccentricity. Like, it's just amazing. It is just absolutely amazing. There is not a character out there right now in pro wrestling the magnitude of Nakamura. And when I say he better be a future WWE World Heavyweight Champion, I will emphasize each word. He better be, because you're just not going to be able to touch him. You're not. It's just unreal, the level of admiration and love these people have for him. And, it seems like these guys maybe ready to go at it, either on the microphone or maybe even fists.
And Nakamura even continued his promo then, and he said after the either thing, he said the NXT Championship not coming to greatness, coming to King of Strong Style.
Yes, thank you.
And I gotta say, just a little minor thing, I think that this would have had more impact if he just would have stopped at King. Coming to King. You don't have to add the Strong Style. We know you're the King of Strong Style. Just say it's coming to King.
I have to agree with you. I was kind of hoping it stopped there. Didn't mind that he went all the way with of Strong Style, but I agree with you. It would have been just a bit more impactful if he just stopped at King. But everything came to a full stop when William Regal then came out, and I'm so glad you did remember talking about Nakamura's line, because I would have forgotten. But then Regal comes out, and he says, I like the sight of you two in the ring, I know you guys tagged together, but, and then, big takeover chants, and Regal kind of smiles, and he says, "I agree. You two are going to face off at TakeOver June the 8th. I figured these two would be on a collision course with the way their tag match went, so this should be a very interesting matchup for TakeOver the End." Interestingly enough, William Regal didn't explicitly make this a number one contenders match, despite so much talk about the NXT Championship, but one would have to assume that whoever wins this match, which I'm really thinking it's going to be Nakamura, is going to, be in the crosshairs of whoever the NXT champion is after the show. So,
yeah, man, this is so exciting. I mean, personally, I could care. Well, I just messed up. I couldn't care less about a Nakamura Aries match, just because I feel like Nakamura is on to bigger and better things. Like, even if Nakamura wins and gets an NXT title shot, I just don't care, because I really just want to see him take over the main roster.
Yeah, dude, I was even getting ready to ask you, because I know you're a big-time Nakamura fan, like, huge. Are you already, and I guess you kind of answered your own question or remarks earlier anyway, but just to really kind of, form a discussion, you're really already looking at prospects like Nakamura versus Cena, Nakamura versus Reigns, and Nakamura versus Styles, just hypothetically, right? That's
Nakamura
where you're
versus Sheamus, and Nakamura versus Brock, and Nakamura versus frickin' Alberto Del Rio, like
Kevin Owens.
Sami Zayn again.
Yes.
Cesaro.
Yeah,
I mean, and the rumor has it we're actually getting this one in Japan, Nakamura versus Bray.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. After Zayn, Owens, Owens, Zayn, and Cesaro was the order. Yeah, I slightly pitched a 10, so I kind of missed everything else you said. But I think you said Bray. That too would be amazing. I mean, yeah, I can totally understand why your horizon is just totally main roster bound for Nakamura. Because, I mean, let's be honest, like, Nakamura in NXT, with all due respect to the talent there, he's the shark in the pond.
Exactly. Even just his reaction, he feels so much bigger of a deal than NXT.
Yeah, I want to see him be the shark in the actual ocean. I want to see him take it over. And, before any of the negativity would come in, he's still going to job to Reigns anyway. I'll be honest, I couldn't care less about that either. I want him to be world champion, but let him just have those clinics of wrestling matches and be Nakamura. Everything else will take care of itself, even if he has to swallow some glass on the way there. Ain't going to matter. When you're that good, it's just inevitable to me. So, great stuff here.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, if Nakamura doesn't majorly screw up, like wellness policy violation or like arrest or something big like that, he is 100% a future WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And even if they split the belts for WWE and World, I'm saying WWE Champion. He's going to win the most prestigious prize in his company.
I really hope you're right, dude. I really hope you are. You have a much better track record than I do. I really hope this is one of those times where you're right on the nose yet again.
Well, and I would have told you that before tonight, but tonight this promo just sealed it for me, because you can tell, like, Asuka is uncomfortable with English. Like, you can tell it with her, and Hideo too. They're not horrible at English. Like, you can understand what they're saying, but they're not comfortable with it either. Nakamura is comfortable with English.
I just feel like he's comfortable with himself.
Yeah.
And, like, that's so weird to say, right? But I feel like in our industry these days, a lot of characters that you see aren't comfortable with, well, I shouldn't say themselves, but with their characters. But
yeah,
I feel like with Nakamura, it's become indiscernible. Like, I couldn't sift through the actual Nakamura to
dude.
this
like that
character.
line, that just, speaking in Japanese, and then he goes, oh, sorry, you don't understand Japanese. And then Aries, I don't understand you. Yeah, me neither. Just the comedic, like the fact that he gets the comedic timing like that, I'm sold. As if I wasn't sold enough already, this sold me even further on Nakamura.
He's just so fucking good, because, like, when you're that quick and, like you said, with that timing, Aries really should be heel for all intents and purposes. I think he would be far more palatable to me if he was just explicitly heel. But even if he was, like, I could see him, and this is a huge compliment to Nakamura, I could see him keeping pace with Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens has shown that he could really put baby faces down, or really anybody down. Nakamura wouldn't have that shit.
No.
I honestly believe he wouldn't have that shit, and Kevin Owens wouldn't know what to do.
He wouldn't have given Kevin Owens the opportunity to have his Hideo line.
Exactly.
He wouldn't have let that happen. That would not have been a thing if it would have been Nakamura instead of Hideo.
Oh my god, I want it now. I want everything now like you do. I mean, yeah, our horizon, I think, is way beyond NXT, but should be an interesting matchup, because I think...
I'm telling you, man, I know that 2016 has been a great year so far, but there's still been a lot of injuries and stuff, and I'm not saying that there won't be in the future, but I think 2017 is going to be one of the best wrestling years ever.
I really hope so, dude, because it's looking that way, right? With how much talent's coming in and everything.
Right. Well, not only how much talent's coming into the WWE system, but also, Lucha Underground Season 3. But then, even more importantly, there are a lot of guys leaving WWE that are going to find homes elsewhere in 2017.
Yeah, dude. Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, man.
I'm just thinking, 2016's been a great year, and it's going to be even better this summer, I'm guessing. But I've got my eyes on 2017 already. I'm looking to the future. Up next, though, we had an American Alpha promo. They basically know what the Revival are all about, and they are ready for them. But not only are they ready for them, they're ready, willing, so sick, and Gable.
I love that you added the so sick in there. Yeah, guys, I'm an American Alpha mark. Love the new t-shirts, by the way. I may have to think about, again, I'm starting to think of, like, stocking up on more wrestling merch. Maybe even next year we talk about 2017 in the future. Maybe my future, I'll be diversifying where my money goes a little bit. But, yeah, I enjoyed this promo.
Gotta diversify them stocks, homie.
Yeah, homie. But, yeah, American Alpha did great here. They pretty much said to the Revival, bring it on. I think even Gable said, bring that aggression, that attitude that you've had going on the past few weeks. We want all of it, he says. And I love the confidence. I do worry a little bit that because they've been on such a roll, such a freaking roll, I wouldn't want Full Sail to sour on them. I don't think that's going to happen, though, because I think these guys have a charisma and a likability about them that they haven't in
Full
good.
Sail didn't, dude, seriously, Full Sail didn't spoil on the Ascension. They're not going to spoil on these guys.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Because you want to talk about dominance. Good lord. So yeah, very much looking forward.
In a far less entertaining form as well.
Yeah, really. I completely agree. You're absolutely right.
I think that the closest thing to spoiling on Jordan and Gable that I've come is just wanting them to do more than just suplex and arm drags.
Right, and I can even admit to having gotten there myself. And I feel like the match where they won the titles, they did do a bit more, and it was just a nice energy and everything. I'm really looking forward to the rematch. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's going to be match of the night, too. I mean, Joe and Balor are going to be great, but they're not going to steal the show. These guys are.
I have to agree with you. You give these guys 15 minutes for an opener?
Freaking Nakamura and Aries. Anything Nakamura's in has that potential.
That is true. That is true. But I honestly believe you give these two teams like 15 minutes for an opener, they'll do great things.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm excited.
Get them to jerk the curtain, too. Yes.
Yeah, you want to set that tone, brother, and that these two teams are the perfect act to do it. So,
all right, up next, we had an announcement again, another new theme song for NXT TakeOver on June 8th, a Day to Remember song, Paranoia.
Yeah, I mean, I liked what I heard.
Yeah, and this seems to be more specifically catered to the Joe Finn feud.
Right.
Because I noticed that during the two title or the two video packages for those guys, this was the song that was playing in the background of them.
Yeah. I liked it. So good stuff there.
Yep, same here. Up next, our second match of the night. No Way Jose, and I have no clue what the opponent's name was, but he had Vandal on his trunks. So I'm just going to call him Vandal.
Yeah, I know a lot of Abe Lincoln comparisons were made about this guy. Ashton, what'd you think of this match?
I freaking love No Way Jose. Seriously. I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved Adam Rose at first, too, but they stripped so much away from him that made me love him on his debut that it almost neutralized the whole thing. No Way Jose has been consistently getting better.
Yes, dude. I agree.
I loved the moment that stood out for me tonight was when this Vandal guy tried to slam No Way Jose's head into the turnbuckle, and No Way Jose got serious for a minute.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
He pulled a Lance Storm.
But yeah, the No Way Jose gimmick, I'm having fun with it. I think it has potential for very interesting development down the road. You know, when he starts having more storylines of struggle or things get a bit more arduous for the character, it'll be interesting to see how this character responds to that struggle. Love the wind-up punch and his new finisher of like the kind of full Nelson slam almost what he's got going on. It came off better this week. And like I said last time when I had a bit of a problem of it, I put it more on the opponent. And I think this only really confirmed it because the opponent tonight, who we're calling Vandal, I think did very well with it. So it came off a lot better. Crowd fucking loves this dude. Oh my God. Honestly, it's at a point where if you want to keep him in singles, great. If the rumors of him and Swan tagging together are true, excellent. Obviously, for a lot of reasons on my own personal end. And then in the
That's kind of the end game that I'm hoping for with him.
Yeah, me too. I mean, me too, obviously. But really, wherever they go with him, he is so over. I don't want to say that they can't do wrong because WWE has certainly proven me wrong before, but they're in a good place with this character and this gimmick. And it's just really nice to see the reception he's getting, everything. And then the post-match, Ashton, well, that was a lot of fun in itself, too.
Yeah, man. Post-match, this dude is just plain an entertainer. It's that simple. We even had a moment before he actually did anything where Corey Graves conceded, all right, yeah, this guy's pretty fun. Like just that concession is enough to be like, oh, Graves is getting into it. But then No Way Jose walks over to commentary and gets Tom Phillips to dance with him, and he's awful at it. But then he gets Graves after a lot of pleading and even, I would say, kind of arguing. Graves finally stands up and moves a little bit, and then he kind of gets into it. And this was just a cool moment.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Again, I'm loving the character the way it is now. I think it has some interesting potential, again, for progression down the road. Like, this is a character that I could see a lot like Apollo Crews, for example. Maybe he gets that, like, random NXT championship match on TV. And, like, you see him be more serious, but of course he comes up short. I'm just very intrigued where this character's going to go in the future. You talked earlier about 2017 being a great year for just wrestling in general. If you look at an act like No Way Jose, next year could be very kind to him. And hell, there's still plenty of this year to go, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. Up next, we had another video package. This was a Finn Balor possessed video package. Can I just say, it really gets on my nerves when people say that somebody is obsessed, or I'm sorry, see, I said it the correct way. When somebody says that somebody is possessed with something, you're not possessed with anything. You're either possessed by something or you are obsessed with something.
Right.
They're two different things. Being possessed means something is possessing your body. Being obsessed means you really, really, really can't stop thinking about something. Obsessed
Right.
is the word that Tom Phillips meant to use, but possessed keeps getting thrown around for some reason, and it annoys me.
Well, I think it's, first of all, no surprise to anybody that knows Edge particularly well, like myself. But, I think it's the whole play on because of the Demon Balor. And I think it's more of like a cutesy little thing. I can see where you're coming from, though. I mean, verbiage is important, people. I mean, you're getting your education through TWitWoW, so, I mean, we have to be consistent at all times. But, yeah, I think it's more just, it's the demon, whatever. And,
He's possessed by the demon, yeah, but he's obsessed with the NXT Championship.
I know. And I get where you're coming from. I just think for them it's like this cutesy thing, like, oh, because Balor, Demon Balor and all that stuff. But it's like, yeah, we know. Just say it right.
We don't do preview predictions for NXT takeovers, do we?
No, I don't think we do, no.
Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and say I think Finn's regaining the title in this match.
See, and it's funny you say that because I think the only reason that they're doing a cage match to begin with, if you want the honest truth, is to protect Demon Balor without him being explicitly pinned, and maybe Joe escapes to the door. So I think Joe's retaining, and it's going to be Demon Balor, but they don't want to make it seem so bad, like, oh, we pinned or submitted him. No, Joe's going to have a heelish victory. He's going to escape through the door. So I see Joe retaining.
I'm telling you, we'll see. We will see. I do think Joe's going to lose. I think Joe's going to end up calling him to the main roster before Finn, because NXT wants Finn and Bayley to be their golden people.
Yeah. You know what? I can't even really say that I mind, because, I mean, as much as I think what they can do on the main roster, do I really know that? No, I don't. So let's just keep them where it's good, I guess, for right now. We'll see what happens.
Up next, Cathy Kelley had an interview with Asuka, and Asuka literally had an 8-word response. No matter who wins, I will defeat them.
And she did smile at the NXT Women's Championship, I think, in between the I will defeat them and stuff like that, which I thought was a nice touch. I mean, this was the most succinct of succinct promos, not really much you can say. Good stuff from Asuka for what she's capable of right now, and yeah, no complaints here.
Absolutely. Up next, we find out that next week we are going to get a Corey Graves sit-down interview with Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. I don't know if it's going to be both at the same time or two separate interviews, but either way, I'm sure it'll be interesting.
Sounded like both at the same time was my interpretation.
That's what I was picking up too, so I'm glad that it wasn't just me that interpreted that way.
Yeah, so we'll see. Should be interesting regardless.
And we're also getting Austin Aries versus Elias Samson next week.
Oh, well, I mean, Nakamura already had his way with Samson, so it's nice that he's generous enough to allow Aries to play with the table scraps.
Yeah. I'm going to be cheering for Samson in that match. But anyway, up next, Bayley escorting Carmella to the ring for our third match of the evening and main event, Carmella versus Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. And immediately when the bell rings, we can talk about the rest of it and stuff, but I just love that as soon as the bell rings, Alexa Bliss bails immediately.
I'm so glad you started with that, because I planned on fielding you a question anyway. Am I alone in saying that I thought Alexa Bliss was the star of this match? Because I thought her heel work was brilliant here.
I mean, her heel work was great, but I don't think I'd go as far as to say she was the star of the match.
Who do you think was?
Nia.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
But that's not to say that she was like, heads and shoulders above everyone else. I thought that all three of these women really shined quite a bit in this match. I mean, Carmella got some of her signature offense in, and this, I think, was the most over she's ever been in Full Sail without Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, definitely.
And like you said, Alexa had some great heelish moments, but I think that Nia just stood out the most out of these three. And that's not just it's not just a size thing. It's just because she was the most dominant. She had the most sort of, oh crap moments. She just, I don't know. I think she had the best night out of these three tonight.
Where I think this main event works so well, and it did work very well. This is a very fun main event to me. Everybody played their part to perfection.
Yep.
Carmella was the scrappy babyface doing it for her friend and doing it for herself because she wants to be NXT Women's Champion, and she's taking the fight to Nia and all that stuff. Alexa Bliss, perfectly that conniving, bitchy heel character that's going to have the stratagems and be more of the intellectual, think things through. I loved her moment when she was on the top rope simply because Nia had her back turned. As soon as Nia makes that eye contact, Alexa immediately gets off the top rope and back onto the floor on the outside, picking her spot. I thought that was a great moment for the two. And Nia's part, well, it's simple. She's the destroyer. She's the woman that can, impose her will, throw her power around, and just do anything to anybody that she damn well pleases. Because as her song goes, she's not like most girls, not even close. And I feel like all three of these women played their parts to perfection tonight.
Yeah.
And it came together for a really fun triple threat. The moment where Carmella and Alexa Bliss actually put their differences aside and they try and double suplex Nia, a moment that's in futility because Nia suplexes both of them, was great.
That was a great moment. That was actually one of the moments that I was talking about when I would say that, yeah, that was one of those, oh my God, holy crap, Nia is actually crazy moments.
Yeah, and I have to give, to kind of build on your comments that you felt like Nia was the star. Every time that Nia would charge with a full head of steam, I almost felt like I got to catch in my breath, so to speak, because I'm like, oh, are they going to move out of the way or aren't they? And every time they moved out of the way, I feel like if you were rooting for Alexa Bliss or Carmella, you felt your faith get a bit elevated because it's like, oh, okay, Nia's isolated. What were some of your favorite moments in this match, dude?
The double suplex was one of the moments that I actually wrote down in my notes.
Right.
And really, other than that, I think just the Alexa Bliss, Alexa Bliss trying to pick her spot where she kind of got up on the top rope and like she was going to try and dive on Nia, but then Nia turns around and catches her and she's just like, crap. And she just backs down. I love that.
Yeah, I got to tell you, going on, because I did say I felt like Alexa was the star. I felt like she was protected the most in this match, outside of the winner, of course.
Well, because she didn't get pinned. That makes sense.
Well, she didn't get pinned, not only that, but she had this match won on two different occasions, and if it wasn't for triple threat rules of, I'm going to break up this pin, she would have had this match won twice, because she had Carmella pinned after the double knees to the midsection. Nia broke that up when she missed the elbow on Alexa, and then Alexa actually got Nia down, and not only were she need her in the midsection, she hit the Sparkle Splash. So she would have had, on two separate occasions, both Carmella and Nia Jax pinned. Alexa had a beast night tonight, except, she didn't win, unfortunately. But yeah, this is the best she's looked to me in a while. I got really into her heel mannerisms, and I feel like, I don't know, maybe it was just a one-night thing where everybody was just really on tonight. But if I would see this more consistently and I would feel this investment more consistently, I'd want to see her step in there with Asuka. Absolutely, I'd be curious to see it. So great night for Alexa here.
And let's also talk about Carmella, since we're giving everyone their shine. Her suicide dive onto Nia Jax, that didn't work at first, but then she powered up and managed to get it to work. I thought that was awesome.
Great moments for Carmella tonight. You're absolutely right. That was a standout moment.
Both Bronco Busters.
Yes, those
the first one worked, and the second one Nia stopped her and hit her with a spine buster out of. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I love the heart that Carmella showed in this match, and she needed to bring it because as the only babyface in the match, again, she's going to be the scrapper. She's going to be like this lightning rod of sympathy, especially when one of her oppositions is Nia Jax, and she just consistently brings the fight. Even when it seemed like Nia was ready to close the book on this match, Carmella tries a sleeper hold. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was a great moment, and I like that it wasn't like a direct rip-off of Bayley, because I noticed, like, after the London matchup, women would try and replicate the guillotine.
Yeah.
Well, Carmella's like, fuck that, I'm going full-blown sleeper. I'm going to put Nia Jax to sleep. And, yeah, dude, everybody in this match had great standout moments, and this triple threat was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then I'll also bring up with Carmella, or with Nia, I feel like, and this, I think you'll be able to kind of agree with me on this, just because this kind of backs up my whole thing about her kind of feeling like the star of this match. This match revolved around Nia Jax. This legitimately felt like this entire match was just two smaller women trying to overcome this obstacle. Did it not?
Oh, completely agree with you.
I don't think that there was a single exchange between Carmella and Alexa Bliss, was there?
There was, but only after Nia Jax was isolated, like that's the thing. You could even see one of my favorite points, and it's funny because it came from my star interacting with your star, when Nia got out and Alexa immediately starts attacking Carmella. This is, I think, was like the midpoint of the match, but Nia is starting to stir. Like, she grabs the ropes. You can even hear Alexa explicitly say, "Oh, hell no." And she kicks Nia away, kicking her down. Like, these two women had a sense of urgency to keep Nia Jax at bay, keep her away from that ring, because they knew the moment that she got in there, it was over. So I completely agree with you. This match revolved around Nia Jax.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So I think that's about all I have to say about this main event. We've already established that Nia did, in fact, win.
Yeah, she's going to take over the end. She pinned Carmella after a leg drop. And I liked it too because I think the pin, she just stayed in her position and the ref just counted it. If I'm not mistaken, that I felt was nice too. It's all about the little things. So Nia Jax just like, bitch, counted. She's down for 100. And that was that. Nia's celebrating, and then Asuka's music hits. And Asuka, at first she's just kind of, posing. She gives Nia a little smile. We think that's going to be the end of it. But then she comes down to the ring, gets up in Nia's face. Chance of Asuka's going to kill you, full sail. And she gives a smile directly in Nia's face. And we can hear Nia say before we go off the air, if you ever get this close to me again, I'll drop you where you stand. And Asuka just smiled that smile.
Well, and then, yeah, I mean, this was another kind of situation where Nia made this open threat that didn't have any real emphasis behind it whatsoever.
Right. And you even heard me say, because this was before we started recording, as soon as the show went off the air, first words out of my mouth were, yeah, Nia, good luck with that. Like, it's so funny because when you look like Nia Jax does, like, you'd think even in a kayfabe sense, I'm like, oh yeah, she's the favorite, but, Asuka with that smile to me is just so disarming. And yeah, I'm just like, yeah, Nia, that's going to be a fun night for you. Good luck.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, with that said, you ready for our next segment?
Let's move on.
High spots and low shots. I'm going to say that my low shot is Carmella. Very fun main event, but she lost her opportunity to get another crack at the NXT Women's Championship. I know she was doing this for herself and Bayley, and I mean, that actually kind of makes matters worse because she was pinned by the woman who did the number on Bayley to begin with. So Nia's just stacking them up like cordwood, as JBL would say. So yeah, Carmella's my low shot.
I can understand that for sure. Yeah, she had a pretty rough night. I think my low shot is going to almost have to be... Oh, crap. Another example where I had something and then lost it. Oh, TM61. It has to be. They had a great night, but I'm not going to give that frickin' Vandal guy my low shot because no one expected anything out of him. So I have to give it to TM61 because they were the only people that really lost a match tonight. And, I mean, it was a great match, but they still did, in fact, lose on their debuts. So I have to.
Hey, I completely understand where you're coming from, man. We've utilized that kind of logic before, and no reason why anything should change just because we like the guys on the losing end of it. I'm gonna say my honorary, oh my god, I can't even English. I hope
can't believe you even pointed that out. I was gonna let it go.
I couldn't let it go because it's funny given who my honorary high spot was going to be, and maybe that's why I messed up. Because I'm looking at the name right now. Andrade CIEN Almas is going to be my honorary high spot. Goosebump inducing vignette. Like I'm still thinking about this guy, even though we've been far removed from him now for quite a bit. He's still stuck on my mind. I think this is a first for me personally to give an honorary high spot really to a vignette, but that's why it's the honorary. I just got goosebumps. I loved it. I'm excited. Sue me. Otunga Law, he's representing me, so good luck with that. My high spot. You know what? Who is my high spot? You know what? I'm going to say my high spot, in all honesty, is... Yeah, I'm going to say that my high spot is Gargano and Ciampa. I'll make the high spot the opposite of your low shot. They won again. They're really building that credibility as a tag team. They're the team that, quite honestly, I'm keeping my eye on post TakeOver the end because I feel like they'll be the next ones gunning for American Alpha if I was a betting man. So, yeah, Ciampa and Gargano are my high spot.
All right. Kind of surprising. I think my honorary high spot then is just going to go to Nia Jax because we were already talking about how she kind of felt like the star of that match. She won it. She is the number one contender. This felt like a foregone conclusion, though, which is why she's only my honorary high spot and not my actual high spot. My actual high spot is No Way Jose, because the one thing that happened tonight that wasn't a foregone conclusion was Corey Graves dancing.
Yes. And what we call that is making a moment for yourself.
Yeah.
Very happy that No Way Jose was able to do that. Between No Way Jose Day, with everybody changing their pictures to No Way Jose, and then him getting Corey Graves to dance, like, I think NXT wants him to be a big deal, which makes me happy, because if you look at any YouTube comments or whatever, everybody's thinking he's going to get Fandangoed or Adam Rose or go downhill, and hell, that potential always exists. But they really seem to be putting their back out, and really not with much effort, because the guy does have charisma and he's great at what he does, but really putting in the effort, I'm trying to say, into making this guy feel special, and he does feel special, so I'm actually glad he's your high spot. I think that's an excellent choice. Do you have any concluding remarks about this week's NXT?
No, sir.
All right, guys, with that said, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. Ashton, what question do you have for our subscribers this week?
Well, I kind of came out with a little bit of a bold prediction today, and since we don't do preview and predictions for TakeOver specials, I want you guys to tell us, do you think that Samoa Joe is going to retain his title, or do you think Finn is winning that thing back at NXT TakeOver The End?
All right, guys, what do you think? Is Joe retaining the title, or does Finn Balor make history, becoming the first ever two-time NXT champion? Get that conversation started down in the comments. Talk to us. Be sure to take that conversation over to Pweetov. That is Pro Wrestling is taking over Facebook. I have seen NXT threads started over there, admittedly with little success, but hey, maybe those of you listening can actually turn the tide and change that, huh? Be sure to check out the TwitWoW Facebook page. Like, share, and comment on the content there. If Facebook isn't your medium of choice, we are also on Reddit. On the TwitWoW subreddit, you can find all of our TwitWoW content, and members of the subreddit can create threads of their own on all things related to pro wrestling. However, for the best possible TwitWoW experience, I really recommend following both of us on Twitter. I am at John_TwitWoW. That is JOHN_TwitWoW. Ashton is at apond404. That's the letter A, pond, the body of water, POND 404. And for those of you guys that may be missing, like, oh, I'm bummed. My Thursdays used to be so fulfilling because of SmackDown reviews and TwitWoW and hearing these glorious voices. I feel so empty. Well, we've got a gift for you, because this Thursday we're going to be having a topical video for you guys. We're going to be talking about the news of SmackDown going live, and speculation, I think it has been more or less confirmed at this point, of a draft. We'll also be having a WWE draft discussion. Should be very interesting. The opinions my cohort and commentary and myself will be exchanging on the subject, so you have a topical video to look forward to. And until then, guys, tune in and peace out.